Hey Crafty fam, it's Alex Vanover and welcome back to my craft room. I feel like it has been a million years since I have been live with all of you, and I'm so excited to show you the crafts that I have for today. They're Valentine's Day themed crafts, which is not something that I actually usually do a lot of, but I'm feeling a lot more inspired by Valentine's Day this year. So we're gonna have some fun going through these crafts. The first section of this video is gonna be ideas using crafts that I've already made. And then in the last part of this video, we're gonna make a quick keychain, and then we'll get to the main event, which is a custom pillow cover using HTV. So it's gonna be a really fun afternoon. I'm super excited to get started. So give me just a moment here. I am gonna share this live to our friends on Facebook so we can have some more friends join us, and then we will get started. I didn't have a chance to schedule them beforehand because YouTube sometimes doesn't cooperate, and it doesn't like to always show my links in advance, so I didn't have any links that I could schedule until literally like 5 minutes ago. So that's always fun. So if you are joining me, let me know that you can hear me okay and see me okay. Let me know where you are joining us from, and I will get this shared and we will get this party started. Let me open up comments here. Hello. Oh my gosh, there's so many of you. Hey Kim, welcome. Hey Sarah, I'm so glad you finally made it live. Hey Connie, how are you? Ooh, Sarah is snowed in. So the further south in the United States definitely had a lot more snow. We've gotten cold weather, but no snow here so far, which I'm disappointed about because I love snow. Oh, welcome, Sarah. This is your first live with me. Honestly, it's been a while, Sarah, since I have done regular lives. And yeah, so I just decided to say hello to everyone. I know there's lots of new faces around here too, so I wanted to be sure to introduce myself for those of you who are new around my channel. Hey, Carla, welcome. Nice to see you too. Hi, Emily and Shamay. Happy New Year, guys. Hey, Jennifer. Good. Everything sounds good. Good deal. Okay, Sarah, you're in Charlottesville, Virginia. Yeah, my in-laws live in southwestern Virginia, and they got tons of snow, like 5 inches. Yeah, you did too. Oh, wow. Hi, Josh. Welcome. Good deal. Oh, no power. Oh, no. That's a pain. Connie said we got some, but expecting some Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, I heard it's supposed to snow again in Virginia, like I think tonight or something like that. Goodness. Kim is working on beaded keychains today to launch in your Etsy shop. Oh, go Kim. You guys, Kim has some super cute files in her Etsy shop that I have used here on lives before, so make sure you go check out Kim's shop if you haven't had a chance yet. Hey, Jacqueline from London, UK. Very cool. Welcome. Good deal. Hey, Tammy. Snow is on the way for you. Well, thanks, Tammy, for the warning. That's good because I'm going to Bible study tonight too, so I need to be aware of that before I leave. Oh my gosh, hi, Debbie. Yeah, you can just you'll be able to hear me. Debbie, you know I'm loud. I have no issues with that. Okay, let me share this live so that we can get this party started because we got some stuff to talk about today and it's going to be really fun. I hope you guys like these ideas. And in fact, Sarah, I took your comment about wanting some Valentine's Day ideas, and I think this video is actually going to be kind of half Valentine's Day, half Galentines and for those of you who are not familiar with Galentines. Galentines is like Valentine's Day for friends. So for those of you who like to celebrate with your close friends, or if you don't have a partner and you want to celebrate with your friends instead, Galentine's Day is what you would celebrate. So some of these ideas are going to be perfect for that. I also have a pre-recorded Valentine's Day video idea coming for you guys in February. So I didn't want to use any of those ideas. So these are all fresh, all different, and new ideas. There we go. So I'll copy this over. Is that it? No, okay. Post on DIY Alex on my page. And my posts were so late today. It also took me like half of the day to decide what I wanted to craft with you guys today, which is my other delay. I had so many ideas and so many thoughts, but when my anxiety is high, I can make 0 decisions, absolutely 0. So I had a really hard time deciding what I wanted to do with you today, and that's why we just did like 100 ideas. No, it's not really 100, but for me, it felt like a lot of ideas. So that's what took me so long. So sorry about that. Usually I'm giving you warnings way in advance. But if you watched my Instagram stories or if you watched them over on Facebook yesterday, you probably know that I am starting a sublimation series here in January. So it's going to be 4 episodes in a row of sublimation videos, and they are going to get started hopefully next week. But I got my videos to my editor super late last month, and so he is taking some extra time getting them back to me because I was late first. So he's working on it, and then when he's done, I will get those started. I think you guys are going to love the sublimation series. I poured my heart and soul into making sure that it was helpful. It was answering questions that I had when I first started sublimating. So I'm really hopeful that you guys are going to learn a lot from it and get a lot from it, because I think it's going to be super valuable. And it's going to be an ongoing thing. So I started the first 4 episodes all in a row, and then I'm going to add to it some more. I'm going to add tutorials and things like that. But the first few episodes were more of like introduction to sublimation, explaining sublimation, breaking down printers and concepts and things that are confusing. And I think because they're confusing, I think they end up being barriers for people. Because they're confused, they don't want to jump into sublimation, or they feel like they don't know enough. So I'm hoping that these videos will help you do that. All right, sorry guys. I can't type and talk at the same time. Then I'll go back to your comments. Okay, I'm posting in the 143 group too, so people know. Cool, okay. Got that posted. Let's make sure it goes through. Good deal. Okay, back to the chat. Hi, Phil, welcome. Sarah says she has needy friends for Valentine's Day. Listen, me too, Sarah, me too. I am going on a girls' weekend this weekend that I'm so excited about. We've had to reschedule it 3 times so far because everyone keeps getting sick or something, and so I'm super pumped for this weekend. Hey, Kayla, happy Tuesday. Welcome. Hi, Teresa. I'm so glad you're here. Yes, Connie, the sublimation series will be here on YouTube, so it'll be all free videos just like usual right here on YouTube. Terry said, I bought some wine glasses that I've been thinking of ways to decorate. Well, girlfriend, good thing you're here because I'm going to show you some ideas. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you like my teaching style, Sarah. Hey, Mom. My mom is Roxanne Pilcher, so everyone say hi to my mom. Monica said, love how organized you have everything behind you. That's so sweet, Monica. But I'll tell you a little secret. This wall is always organized because this is what's in my videos. That wall on the other side is a total disaster. And I'm actually getting ready to redo my craft room. So if you guys don't already watch my stories on Instagram, and I also share them over to Facebook, I really encourage you to learn how to watch stories because that's where I give like play-by-play updates of life just about every day. And I bought a bunch of furniture from IKEA. Haven't had a chance to put it together yet, but I'm going to be doing another reorganization of my craft room here soon. It's not as dramatic as the first one that I did back in April, but I'm still making some changes, which I think will be really helpful for a lot of you, because I don't know about you, but when I got started with my craft room, I had this grand plan of how things were going to go. And then because there are certain areas that I struggled to keep organized, I know that it's not a very good fit. So I'm adjusting it again so that I can keep those sections organized all over again. And I think it's going to be really valuable. And some of you guys have requested that I share my craft room journey on YouTube. So I'm going to figure out how I can make a video about that because my craft space and room has changed a lot. I've had to come up with a lot of different innovations, or not necessarily innovations because I bought this furniture for the most part. My husband did build a couple of these things, but I've had to figure out what works really well for the type of supplies that us Cricut crafters use because we're different from other crafters. So we have other organization needs that a lot of other existing videos and things like that I could find weren't really helpful. So hopefully I can share some of that with you guys and maybe it will help inspire you to organize your spaces because I don't know about you, but a disorganized craft room is not a place that inspires me to craft. That's so true, Connie. Organization totally never ends. There you go, Mom. There's all your hellos. Yeah, I'm really excited to to give you guys my sublimation series. Like seriously, I'm really pumped for that. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully next Tuesday, that's what I'll be doing my video on. Feels that I can't type and talk at the same time either. It is a disaster every time because I always end up just typing what I'm saying. So I have to get quiet for a second. Oh, hi, Sherry. Hi, Linda. Oh my gosh, there's so many of you here. I'm so excited. Okay, good deal. Let me see if there's any other comments and then we will jump into this topic. Carla's reworking her craft room, putting it in your bedroom instead of the cold, dark basement. Well, there you go, Carla. So hopefully some of these ideas will help you out. Ooh, Sarah needs to meld her quilting and Cricut stuff. I bet that's an interesting combination of trying to get everything organized. Sherry said, been reorganizing my room for 4 days now. I know, Sherry, you know it's a never-ending process anyways, but honestly, when you start dragging everything out, it gets way worse before it gets better, and you're like, my brain is literally going to explode. Like, literally, I don't know what to do with all this stuff. That'll be fun. Teresa said it's like laundry, never ending. Probably the truest statement of the entire day so far. Hi, Candace, welcome. Okay, so let's get into some of these craft ideas because y'all know me. We could literally be here all day. And for those of you watching the replay, hopefully you have stuck around long enough to actually get the content out of this video and not just hear all the things. But I will be sharing all of that stuff in one way or another. But like I said, if you have not been watching stories, either on Instagram and on my Facebook page, so that's just my DIY Alex page, not my group. I share the same stories from Instagram over to Facebook. That is where I give a lot of play-by-play updates. I do a lot of sales that I don't always share in posts and things like that. So if you're not already following me on stories, make sure that you are, and just like learn how to open them up, because I have a couple of posts on my Facebook page showing you how to open stories. Basically, you just tap my profile picture and that will open up these 15-second video or picture slides. And that's where I share a lot of stuff, including real-time updates about my craft room. That's right, Sherry. And I've reorganized, or no, sorry. Yeah, Sherry. But also decluttering and have a get rid of box. Amen. Amen. I have so many things I need to get rid of. Okay. All right. So let's get this party started. I am so excited to share some of these ideas with you. Like I said, some of these were pre-made and they just happen to go along with Valentine's Day. So that's where some of these come from. So they aren't necessarily all literally Valentine's themed, but they will work really well for Valentine's Day. So my first idea for you for Valentine's Day is etched wine glasses. And the reason why I like etching wine glasses is because I think it's a little bit more, well, it's definitely a little bit more permanent than vinyl on your wine glasses. There's absolutely nothing wrong with vinyl on a wine glass. In fact, that was my very first Cricut project. I would say there's nothing wrong with it, but if you want something that's permanent, so that means it's literally, it's dishwasher, it's microwave safe, then I definitely recommend you try etching. So I have a couple of ones that I've done for you. I actually recorded these for a Creative Fabrica class. So if you have a subscription to Creative Fabrica, if you have the all access membership, you can go watch these classes for free where I broke it down step by step and how to do this. So that's what I created these two glasses for. So etching is a really fun craft to do anyway. It's really high quality and really, really nice. The main thing you need to know about etching wine glasses though is they're a little bit extra tricky. So they're curved in this direction, but they're also curved in this direction. See how it's kind of, it's a little bit higher here in the middle and then it curves both sides. That makes it really tricky to apply the vinyl. So if you guys are familiar with doing like Christmas ornaments, you need to cut little relief cuts into your vinyl stencil so that they can go around the curves of the glass. So this one, I know it's a little bit hard to read. This one says Hakuna Moscato, which these files are super cute. I got these from a bundle in Creative Fabrica. So this one says Hakuna Moscato, and this one says Wine Time. So oh, sorry. When I work with my iPad, the camera's a little bit hard to center. So that's my first idea for you. I think these would be super cute. If you want to do something kind of nice for your partner and maybe make something like, you know, if you're doing a nice dinner or something like that, you could add some etched wine glasses. But I think these are also really great for friends because there's lots of really fun like Valentine's Day quotes you could use, or you could even make bestie wine glasses if you really wanted to get like, if you really wanted to get cutesy and Valentine's Day-y, you could make like bestie wine glasses. So there's lots of really fun ways to do that. Teresa says she has such a hard time etching. Well, why is that, Teresa? Honestly, guys, I know. Really, the hardest part is, Kate, hi! You guys, go check out Kate Ross Crafts. Kate Ross is Kate from 143, who did the epoxy tumbler series with me, and she's amazing. I'm so excited that you're here. So Roseanne said, did you start early or am I late? I started at 3:30, Roseanne. Totally not you. I'm a half hour early because I know myself and how long I talk, and because I am going to Bible study tonight, I got to finish up at a decent time. So I started at 3:30 today. Etching can be really, really tricky, but it's also really fun. So definitely try it. I have linked all of the supplies I used for everything in the description of this video. I also linked my etching tutorial, but I was thinking today I probably need to do a tutorial on actually etching wine glasses, because even though the etching process is the same, it is a little bit different with a wine glass. The tutorial that I have linked in the description is for etching casserole dishes, which is also a really cool craft to try, and it's a little tiny bit easier, I would say, because the surface on the side is flat where I show you how to etch, whereas these are curved. So something to try, something to think about. Teresa said it never comes out even. Well, I have to investigate some of that. Oh, that's right. Kate's quarantined. Oh, well, I'm sorry that you're quarantined, but I'm really happy that you're here. Do you guys want a tutorial on etching wine glasses? I know Phil, he said, I have such a hard time with the curved glass and relief cuts. Honestly, it's just kind of challenging. Like, I would love to tell you that there's a super great hack for it or something like that, but honestly, it just takes practice. I know it can be frustrating though, and getting good at it just basically takes practice is really the only way to get better, but that's okay. Well, I don't have a pen here. I just have pin pens, but I will add a etched glass tutorial to my list. But like I said earlier, if you were a Creative Fabrica All Access subscriber, you can go watch my Creative Fabrica class on Creative Fabrica right now, which is what I created these glasses for. So this is idea number 1. Idea number 2 coordinates with this idea, but idea number 2 is customized gift bags. So 143 carries these super cute drawstring gift bags, and they actually come in 3 different sizes. They have a small, a medium, and a large, and this is the medium. And I don't think that the colors that I'm going to show you are in stock at this moment. I think I linked in the description the gray one, but either way, these are all still going to be super, super cute. And I use that same wine time design. And you guys, okay, so these are screen printed. I screen printed on these because I was testing out a product for a company that I'm going to share with you guys this spring, and you guys are literally going to freak out. You're going to love it. But in the meantime, I don't want to tell you too much and give away all the surprises. But I screen printed this using a purple, like little bit metallic ink, and I am seriously obsessed. Plus it showed up so well on this black. So you could screen print custom gift bags if you wanted to include that. Like, say you are selling things this Valentine's Day and you wanted to sell a bunch of these, or make them kind of like an upsell with your products that you're selling. You could screen print a bunch of them if you're doing the same design, or you could just use heat transfer vinyl. Like, just as easily you could do that. So this is what the medium bag looks like, and here's what the etched wine glass looks like when you have it in there. So you could add a little bit of tissue paper if you wanted, or something like that. So there's tons and tons of room in here. I don't know, the small is really small, so I wouldn't get this small, but there's a medium and a large size gift bag that I think would be super, super cute. Kate said, I have a bottle of etching cream on my desk. I was going to test it with again this week, so I'll have to do that when I go back. Yes, you do need to do that, Kate. Kayla said she's going to add etching to her never-ending list of things you need to try. I know, I have one of those too. I think that every crafter does. It's really tricky, Terry. Honestly, it really is. But maybe let me spend some time thinking about that, Terry. Let me see what I can come up with for a tutorial that maybe makes it a little bit easier, because I kind of have an idea, but I need to check and see if it would actually work. So let me try out some things and I'll work on a tutorial. And you guys know my list is metaphor. Like, I have an actual list on Google Sheets, but when I say that, there is no guarantee on the delivery date, because sometimes it takes me a while to get around to things. Thank you guys. I'm so glad you like it. Oh, good, Connie. This is super cute to try with screen printing because they're completely flat. When you have them completely open, they're super flat. So I screen printed these super, super easily. Ooh, Kate said, fill it up with Dove chocolate hearts. Yes, girl. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, good question, Roseanne. She said, how would we find you on Creative Fabrica? Let me drop a link for you to my Creative Fabrica profile, and you'll find all the classes that I have published there. Hold on just a second. Let me grab that for you. View my profile. You can actually follow me over on Creative Fabrica. That's relatively new, but you can follow me over there if you'd like, and then you'll get notified every time I post a new class. So I'll put Creative Fabrica classes. There you go. Yeah, so you have lots of options with the ways that you can make these gift bags. You're not limited to necessarily one idea, but I just think it adds something really fun and really nice to any Valentine's or Galentine's Day gift that you'd be making for someone. So I also have the buffalo plaid one here, the black and white buffalo plaid, which is like probably my favorite, honestly. And I didn't think the ink would actually show up that well, but it's a little harder to see on the camera, but in person, it honestly looks great. I was not sure how it would go. I was just kind of testing it out, and it turned out to be so cute. So these are both medium gift bags from 143 Vinyl. And like I said, I have everything down in the description. So if you guys want to shop any of these things or even just take a look at them, I have links in the description for us. Ooh, yes, and I thought about that too. Carla suggested chocolate glass mini bottle of wine. I thought about that too, Carla. I think I got rid of my wine mini bottles, but a wine mini bottle would be super cute. You could even do this for like your coworkers. If you had a small team, you can get the glasses from the Dollar Tree. You could go get a 4-pack of the mini wine bottles and some Dove chocolate hearts, and you are set. You are set. Super cute. Roseanne said, I have the tumbler turner on my to-do list. Yes, girl, you need to conquer that. It's a lot of fun, but I know it's really intimidating to start. You just got to rip off the Band-Aid and do it. You just got to rip off that Band-Aid. Okay, so, oh, good. You already have one. Good deal. Okay, so that's idea number 2. So far, we've done an etched wine glass, and then we've done a customized wine gift bag, or not wine gift bag, a customized gift bag in general. Third is a customized label on a bottle of wine. Do you see how we have a theme going here? And I have an actual tutorial on this, but you can make your own custom wine bottle labels, which would be so stinking cute for Valentine's Day, which would be a great gift for your husband or partner, or also for your friends. So this one says, Heather, will you be my maid of honor? Because I made this as a wedding tutorial, but I have the full tutorial linked for you in the description of the video also, if you want to try this. Now, what I used on my label was StarCraft printable vinyl with UV laminate over top of it. And my thought process was, in case any wine gets on the front of the bottle, the UV laminate will protect it from smearing the ink or anything like that. Because even though the sticker paper that I use is also waterproof, I don't know if it's waterproof if wine or something with alcohol in it gets splashed on it. You know, so that's what I decided to do with mine. But I'm sure that you can buy wine bottle labels from Etsy and stuff like that. That's where I got these bridesmaid ones. I got these from Etsy. I did not create these myself because I just thought it was way faster. And you can also usually get them so that they can fit like 4 on a page. So that's what I did with these in my example. So that way you're taking up the whole page, you're not wasting anything, and this is so easy. And if you can tell through the back, I didn't even remove the other label. I just put this right over top of it because I just didn't see the point. If you're gonna cover the whole thing up anyways, who cares if there's a label behind it? You know? Oh, you have the StarCraft cup turner on the way. Woohoo! That'll be so fun. Josie said, thanks, Alex. You are so amazing and so positive. I just love your energy. Oh, thanks, Josie. I'm so glad that you're here. Sarah said she's going to fill up her gift bag with all the candy that 143 Vinyl sends her. I know. I hear that. The stuff I don't give to my husband, I do have stashed in the back of my Alex drawers. Don't tell him, though. Good, good. Yeah, I think this would be super cute. Oh, Ruth said, I made custom wine stoppers as Christmas gifts. Yes, that would be so cute. And you could even pair it with this. If you wanted to, you could like tie a little ribbon around your wine bottle topper and you could like put it around the neck of the bottle and that would make it so cute. You can also get wine bags on 143 Vinyl too. And I didn't think about that, but you could make a custom wine bottle gift bag and put a custom bottle of wine in there. And I think this wine is probably like barefoot or something. Yep, because you can see the little foot on the top. So this is literally like a less than $10 bottle of wine probably, which would be super cheap. And if you need to buy the UV laminate and the printable vinyl, you're either going to use it for something else. It's definitely going to you're going to recover all your investment. So you can make this whole gift for probably about, $10 to $12 per person, which is great for friends. Kate said, what size can the Solo print then cut? As far as I understand, I don't think the Solo has a maximum print then cut size, which is one of the huge benefits to using it. Kate will have to tell us if that's right, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. Oh, thanks, Kate. She loves my label. Carla said, ooh, and the custom gift bag, custom glasses, even custom candy bar labels, or spa theme with face mask. See, Carla, you're picking up what I'm putting down. You could do so many different things with the custom gift bags, and I really like doing Valentine's Day stuff that's really, really reasonable. I don't know about you guys, but I like Valentine's Day because it's cute, but it's not something that I'm going to spend a ton of money on, even for my husband and I mean, really, we just keep it pretty simple. So I like the idea of doing gifts like these that are thoughtful and sweet, but still relatively easy on the budget, because I just don't see a point in spending a ton of money on Valentine's Day. Terry said, what vinyl do I use for etching? So Terry, I use StarCraft HD for pretty much everything. And I will tell you, StarCraft HD is going to work a lot better than other types of vinyl on the market because it's a bit higher quality. So it helps contour around those curves a little bit better. But I'm going to work on that for you, Terry, because I'm pretty sure I got some things cooking up in here. I need to try them before I say them because I don't want to tell you bad advice, but I have an idea of a way that I can make etching easier possibly. So I'm gonna consider that before I'm gonna try it out and let you guys know. So this is idea number 3. It's a custom wine bottle, and you could do this in any way, shape, or form. If you want to get real romantic with Valentine's Day, this would be a cute keepsake as well for your husband or partner, but it would also be a super fun way to celebrate with your friends. Okay, thank you, Kate. She said the Solo print then cut is limited only by the printer that you use. I think the width is around 15.5 to allow for the border, but as long as your printer will print that size, then you would be good to go. So there you go, Kate Burns. There's Kate Ross's response to that, which I was pretty sure that was the case. So that's pretty awesome. And I made these in Cricut Design Space, so this is still super easy to do regardless of the editing program or the software that you're using. So this is our next idea. Now our next idea is actually going to be, wait a minute, I think. Yes, okay. Our next idea is an actual craft, but it's going to be super quick. So let me send you guys overhead and I will show you what this is going to look like. So idea number 4 is a Valentine's Day keychain. So you could turn this into a keychain, but you could also use this as a gift tag. So we're going to go ahead and add some vinyl to it and I'll show you guys what I mean. This gift tag is from Third Degree Laser, and I have it linked in the description of this video if you guys want to check it out. It says XOXO, and so I thought it was perfect for Valentine's Day. And I've already cut some vinyl cuts here. I used StyleTech holographic opal for this, and I think it's going to look super cute. I chose not to do a background shape or anything like that. I just wanted to keep it super, super simple. So we're just going to toss the vinyl on this acrylic blank. Oh shoot, and I forgot to grab a ribbon or something, but then I was thinking you could tie this around like the neck, the bottle, oh my goodness, the neck of the wine bottle if you wanted to add a cute gift tag that way, or even if you were giving, like say you're making like, I don't know, people do Valentine's Day gift for teachers, but if you were, you could do the design on the front and then you could do like your kid's name on the back so the teacher knows who it's from. You could utilize it kind of like a Christmas gift tag, but also it's reusable, so it'd be super cute. This little brown protective paper is difficult. Okay, so the protective paper just goes on acrylic blanks to make sure that they don't get scratched up or anything. It is totally clear. The other side just has the brown paper on it as well. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of transfer tape. There you go, Terry. Yep, I know. That's all I use too. That's my favorite stuff. 143 Vinyls, thebomb.com. In case you guys didn't know, I used to work at 143 Vinyl. I worked there for quite a while and I absolutely loved it. And I'm actually coming up on 1 year of doing DIY Alex full time. So I got to figure out what we're going to do to celebrate that because I'm super excited. But I love 143. They're the bomb. Okay, so I'm just sticking my vinyl down on my StarCraft transfer tape. And I probably could have reused that piece, actually. Probably should have done that. But I always am in a habit of just making it quick, so I always just stick it right on my roll. So this is the StarCraft transfer tape, which doesn't have a backing, which is my favorite type, honestly. I really like both of the clear medium tacks that 143 carries because I just think that they work really well. And I don't really see the point in kind of wasting the backing because you really don't need it. Okay, guys. Oh, no. Here's my squeegee. I was like, I forgot my squeegee. So I used the StyleTech holographic, like I said, and I used the colors. This one is considered orange, and this one is considered white. But if you guys have ever worked with holographic vinyl, you know that the colors are not exactly how they appear. So I just thought these were the two closest ones that would go with like a pink and white type of theme. Kayla said, couldn't you just use the stencil vinyl for etching? You could, Kayla, but then it wouldn't be dishwasher safe anymore. But that is a great point. If you really, really struggle with etching, you could totally just use etched vinyl, which would work great. Kim said, party at Alex's house. Hey, you guys, come on over. If you're in Kentucky, let me know. Oh, yes, Connie said she's been using the StyleTech Ultra Glitter Transparent for the back of keychains. I love StyleTech Ultra Glitter. It's my favorite type of glitter vinyl. So when I put vinyl on keychains, I really like to use the parchment paper method because that way I can reposition my vinyl on my keychain without having to see if I got it right. And you know what, guys? I just realized something. I think that this is the wrong side of the, whoops. This is the wrong side of the acrylic. As you guys can see, the way that this lines up, I don't know how well you can see through that paper. You can kind of see it through the light. The X's actually need to go on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and peel the liner off on this side, and we'll apply it to the correct side. Sorry, guys, I'm just catching up on your comments. Kim said she needs a road trip from Chicago, so don't tempt me. You know, I don't know how far Louisville is from Chicago. It wouldn't be super far, but it would definitely be a couple hours. I've never made that drive. So I don't know why this little liner is just being so stubborn. Probably because there's a lot of edges on this acrylic. Okay, so once we have the liner on, I'll show you guys how I use the parchment paper method to get this all figured out. So what I like to do is I like to peel it off the backing of the vinyl. And then I'm going to stick it onto my parchment paper, but I'm going to leave a small bit at the top exposed like this. And that way, when I do actually position my vinyl how I want it, I can use this top strip to keep the vinyl in place while I remove the parchment paper. So it's really important that you leave a little bit left over at the top. So then what I'm going to do is put this on top of my acrylic. But because most of it is covered up with my, well, hold on. Because most of this is covered up with parchment paper, it's not going to permanently stick until I pull out the parchment paper. There we go. I think this is the right side. Hold on. Because it looks like, yeah, that's the shorter side, so that should be right. That is really funky. I wonder if that's even the right acrylic. Yeah, okay. Well, let's try something else. We're gonna try the hearts first because it seems like they're gonna fit a little bit easier. And then I'll go back in with the X's when I figure out where the hearts are supposed to go because they're a little bit more obvious. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the parchment paper again and put it toward the top here like this so that there's a strip left exposed. And then I'm going to start working it onto this acrylic, and this way I can kind of move it around and I'm not committed. So I can even push it down here at the top a little bit, and then I'm going to hold it up and take a look. I don't know how well you guys, yeah, you can kind of see the light coming through the edge at the bottom. So I'm just holding it up to see if I have it fairly even, and actually it worked out fairly well. So it's looking pretty even to me. So I'm going to go ahead and just push down that top section with my fingers. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull up on the transfer tape and remove that piece of parchment paper there at the bottom. And then I'll slowly lower down my vinyl, and then I'll use a squeegee to go ahead and burnish down just the hearts. So now that I have my hearts in place, it's going to be a lot easier for me to figure out where the X's go. So now I just need my parchment paper piece again, and I'm going to repeat the process for the X's. Okay, and that's a little trickier to see for some reason for me. We'll put these at the top. So it might not fit perfectly on here like I was hoping it would. But it'll fit close enough. Okay, let's see how this looks. If I hold it up to the light, what this looks like. Nope, there's definitely something funky about that for sure. So what I might do is I might have to place each X individually. So I'll set one aside, and I'm still going to use the parchment paper method on this one, but that way I can individually place each piece and try to get it as close as I can. I normally don't have a lot of issues with 3rd degree laser files, but I've definitely downloaded the wrong thing or something. That's okay. It's just an example, so you guys can kind of get the idea. That's like super off. Okay. Well, folks, we're going to wing it. Because what else do you do in crafting but wing it? Oh, it's upside down. You guys. You figured it out. It works perfectly when you flip it upside down. I was focused and I wasn't reading your guys' comments. That's hilarious. Okay. Well, actually, the cool thing about Opal Holographic is that the backside is colored too. So let's take a look at what it looks like when we flip it over. I could always recut these too and redo the hearts if I needed to. So looky there. It's XO on one side with the holographic being pink, and it has kind of a whitish background. And then if you flip it over, it's like hot pink with some like pearly color. So it's super cute. Oh, thanks, Kate. She loves the color of my scissors. These are sparkly, like raspberry scissors from Fiskar. They're my absolute favorites. Okay, so super, super cute is the way that this turned out. I love that. Thanks for all your help, guys. Goodness. And then what you could do is you could, if you wanted to actually use this double-sided, then you would want to put like glitter or something, or you'd want to put a solid vinyl background so you could put it on 2 different sides. But you could also just attach it to a wine bottle using like a ribbon or something like that around the neck. And that would make all the difference. So that would make it, see if you did like a custom label and then you added this little tag in the top, how cute would that be? So stinking cute. So that is idea number 4. And next we have the actual craft. Well, this was a craft too, but it was a quick one. So I have a craft that I want to show you guys that I think is so stinking cute. And I also recorded I pre-recorded how I created the file for this, because I didn't create the file, how I set the file up so that you guys can see that process, because I know that especially this time of year, several of you guys are new. So I'm using these little Valentine's Day gnomes that are so stinking cute to put on this pillow, and I wanted you guys to know how I did that. Thanks, Kate. She said it turned out, I think it turned out great with the hollow on each side. Happy accident. Exactly, exactly. So anyways, because there's like a lot of layers and stuff like that, and I know that he's missing a hat, we're going to use layered vinyl or pattern vinyl for the middle one. So this is going to turn out super cute, but I wanted you guys to see the process. So I went ahead and pre-recorded that section over on my computer before I cut this out. So what I'm going to do is play that real quick. So you guys will just hear the audio from my actual video, but I will still be able to see the comments. So if you have any issues where you can't hear me or you know, something's wrong with the video, let me know in the comments and I will try to fix it for you. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself for now, and then I will play that video for you. Let's see. Oh, yeah. All right, guys, here we go. So before we get into actually creating our pillow, I want to show you how I arranged my vinyl pieces and everything using this super cute Valentine's Day gnome file from crafty.net. If you guys are not familiar yet with crafty.net, this is a website that my friend Michael from Mr. Crafty Pants launched a couple of months ago, and you guys, these files are amazing. So I want to show you how awesome and easy to use they are by using it for this project today. So I found these super cute Valentine's gnomes, and that's what I want to put on my pillow. So I'm just going to begin by doing a one-click download, and it's going to go straight into my downloads folder. Now I have already selected it, extracted all, and put it in my folder, so I'm not going to show you that part, but it's just a one-click download, which is awesome. So it's already saved into my crafty files. So now I'm going to go into Cricut Design Space and upload the gnomes into Design Space. And I want to show you just how magical these little gnomes are, and really any of the files from crafty.net, because they're just designed to be so easy. So I'll show you what I mean. So I have my Valentine's gnomes here, and I'm going to import the Microsoft Edge HTML document, which is an SVG file. Sometimes it comes across kind of funky, but the Microsoft Edge HTML is also an SVG file. And remember, whenever you're working with multiple colors in one project, you always want a layered file type like a SVG file or an EPS file or something like that, so that you can get the different colors in different layers. If you were to import like a JPEG type file, it's going to come in as all one color, and it's not going to work out the way that you want. So that's why crafters are always talking about SVG files, because those are the easiest for us to use. So then I'm going to leave the image name alone and just select upload. And then when I click on these cute little gnomes and choose add to canvas here in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see just how easily these guys import into Design Space. And here's what I mean. Typically, when you're working with a design that has this many colors and this many little characters, you would have a layers panel all the way down to the bottom, and you'd probably have to scroll. But the really neat thing about crafty.net is that everything is already sectioned together for you. So all of the beards and all of the white pieces in the hat are all one layer already. So you don't have to change anything, which is awesome. So then you can just make little changes for, you know, anything that you want to do maybe differently or something like that. Because, you know, you might want to customize it yourself, but you don't have to worry about taking forever to get the files the way that you want them. So I am going to make one little change, and that's because I want to use my DIY Alex pattern vinyl, all the hearts here in the center. And so I want to take away these little polka dots. So let me show you how to make changes if you do decide that you want to make some changes to these files. I'm going to select the white layer here in the layers panel. So that includes the beards and all of these pieces. And I'm going to choose contour in the bottom right-hand corner. And what contour does is it adds and removes, I guess it doesn't really add, it only changes cut lines. So for example, if I, for some reason, wanted the tops of all of my gnomes hat to cut, but I didn't want to cut their beards, I would click each of these beards and that would take away those cut lines. So when we go out of contour, then you would see this layer would just be, hang on, let me ungroup it and I'll show you. It would literally just be a layer of these white pieces that go behind their hats. Now that's not the case. The nice thing about contour is with this selected, I can go back into contour and I can change anything I want. So I can just turn these cut lines back on, but that's what contour does in case you've never worked with it before. So I want to leave these cute details in the red hat and everything on both sides. I'm just going to come in here and remove all of the cut lines here for these polka dots so that the pink hat in the center is totally plain. That way I can use the pattern vinyl on it. So once I have all the cut lines clicked that I don't want anymore, you can tell that they're a little bit lighter gray than all the other ones, and that's how I know they're turned off. Then I'll just exit out of it and double check that my cut file looks the way that I want it to, and it does. So I'm going to bring this back over here, and I don't need to rebuild my file perfectly since we're just going to finish all that when we, cut it and then get to actually crafting it. So it doesn't need to be perfect. Now, one other thing that I do need to do is I need to change my red hats and red hearts to something else, and that is because I am using a red pillow. So if I were to keep these red, it would be kind of hard to see on that red pillow. So I'm going to go in and just choose a different color of pink, and I'm going to be using Caesar Easy Weed for all of these colors today, except for my printed pattern vinyl. So I'll just pick another color of Easy Weed to cut out the pink hearts and the hats so that they can be easily seen on the pillow. So once I have everything good to go, then I need to size it for my pillow. And technically, the red pillow that I have is from 143 vinyl, and it's actually an 18-inch by 18-inch pillow. So it's pretty large. But the one thing that you have to keep in mind is that, first of all, when you stuff it with the pillow insert, the sides of the pillow are going to wrap around backwards a little bit. So you don't necessarily need to go edge to edge on the pillow because some of the sides are going to be taken up. The other thing you have to keep in mind is whether or not you are going to be whether or not you have enough vinyl to do a piece that's over 12 by 12. So the sheets of Easy Weed that I have today are 12 by 12, so I can't go any bigger than that. So even though I could go larger because of my blank, I'm not going to because I'm limited by the size of vinyl that I have. So with everything selected all together, I'm just going to go up to the sizing, and I'm going to size it at 12 inches, which is going to make everything a little bit longer than the normal 11.5 by 11.5. And if that doesn't make any sense, hang on, I'll show you. But I have it sized the way that I need it. And you'll also notice here in my drop-down menu that I have my Cricut Explore selected. I'm going to be using my Air 2 to cut this, and I'll show you why here in just a second. So I'm going to click the green Make It button now that I'm ready to go. And next, I need to go ahead and mirror all the things. So I'll go ahead and select OK here. It's letting me know that some of my pieces are a little bit over this, which is fine. So here's why I decided to use my Cricut Explore Air 2. So since I am just barely over the 12-inch mark, and I do have a little bit of extra white vinyl, so the white I can use a bigger piece on than the other colors. But with the Cricut Maker 3 or the Explore 3, because they actually measure your mat, you can't trick the machine to using a 12 by 12 mat. Since I'm going to be using my Air 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece that's a little bit bigger than 12 inches on my mat, and then what I'll probably do is I'll just tape the bottom edge. And so even though this will go a little bit beyond the sticky surface, I'll still be fine to use a 12 by 12 sheet. I'll just scoot it down a little bit so that it covers a little bit over this 12-inch line. Because remember, whenever you're looking at the grid of the mat itself, you have to remember that it's going to move your cut in 1/4 of an inch. And so the first 1/4 of an inch isn't going to be used on this side, and neither is the first 1/4 of an inch on this side. So when I go down here, this looks like a little bit about of 1/4. This looks about like 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to shift all my vinyl down just a little bit so that I can still use a 12 by 12 sheet and use the whole sheet without having to put a whole 12 by 24 mat into my machine. So I hope that makes sense. And since this is a pre-recorded piece, if it doesn't make sense, no worries. Just ask me to explain it again when we are finished. Now we'll take a look at the other mats, and everything else fits on a 12 by 12 inch sheet, which is great. So since we're using heat transfer vinyl, I need to check the mirror button on all of my pieces except for this one actually, because I'm going to be using printed pattern vinyl here. I do not want to mirror this piece because the pattern is on that specific side. So I won't mirror that mat, but I'm going to go ahead and mirror all the other ones. And then once everything is mirrored, I'll click the green Continue button. Okay, so once my machine is turned on and connected in Cricut Design Space, next you can choose your cut setting. So I'm just going to use the regular iron-on setting, which is around the dial on the Cricut Explorer Air 2. If you're using an Explorer 3 or a Maker, I recommend using the everyday iron-on setting with any kind of Caesar Easy Weed, Starcraft Softflex HTV, anything typical like that. And we have a nice little reminder to make sure the mirror is turned on and to place our iron-on material with the shiny side down, which is true for all typical heat transfer vinyl except for our printed pattern HTV. And the reason for that is because printed pattern HTV, you have to actually add a manual carrier sheet on the front of it yourself. So you don't mirror it, you just cut it like vinyl, and then you add your own heat resistant transfer tape or like a carrier sheet to it so it can be transferred to the final piece. So all of these other pieces, I will lay shiny side down and cut them with no problem. And on this one, since I'm going to be using pattern, I will leave it with the pretty side up. So now I'm going to cut everything on my machine, and actually I'm probably going to pre-weed it as well. And I'll see you guys over at my craft table so we can finish this project together. Okay guys, I hope that was super helpful in explaining to you guys how I got everything set up and what that looked like, especially if you are new. Sarah said, okay, and I was going to ask if you guys understood my explanation because I was getting a little wordy there about kind of shifting my vinyl down just a little bit. Sarah said, so you can use the larger mat for the beards if you don't have the Explorer 2. I have the Maker and an Explorer 3. So Sarah, it depends on the length of your vinyl, but that's what I was saying is that I like to be a little sneaky with my machines. And sometimes if it's really, really close to the line on the mat, I'll just go ahead and shift my vinyl down just like 1/4 of an inch. You have to be really careful to make sure that you eyeball it correctly. But if you do that and your vinyl is long enough, you can get away with just using your regular 12x12 mat. But because the 3rd generation machines, so the Maker 3 and the Explorer 3 and probably the Joy also, I'm pretty sure the Joy does measure your mat. Whenever it measures your mat, if it forces you to use a 12x24 mat, then you have to do that. Otherwise the machine will be like, nope, your mat's not long enough, sorry. So I like using my Air 2 because I can kind of trick it a little bit if I need to. But it ended up that I actually did have to use a 12x24 piece of white Easy Weed HTV, but I didn't cut the piece off. I just laid what would stick to the 12x12 mat, and then I let the edge of it hang off, and then I trimmed it off when I was done cutting, if that makes any sense. So that's what I did with my Air 2. You guys don't have to do that. It's not necessary. I don't know if I would call that like a hack, but that's what I like to do because I'll be honest, my 12x24 mats are kind of out of the way, and if I don't have to use them, I won't. I would love to do an in-person event, you guys. I have thought about it and thought about it. At some point, I probably will, but with COVID and everything, it's just really hard to know when it's a good idea and when it would be safe to bring all these people together. You know what I mean? It's definitely complicated. But anyways, okay, cool. Well, now that you guys have seen the process for how I set this up, let's continue with our project. So we're gonna go back overhead and I will show you guys how this looks. So one thing that I always do, always, when I'm working with a bunch of layers of heat transfer vinyl like I am today, is I like to layer up all of my pieces in the order that they need to be pressed. And the reason I know the order is because I like to print out a picture, or you can look at it on your computer if you have your computer handy. I like to print out a picture of what the file is supposed to look like, and then I use clues from the picture to layer the vinyl in the order that it needs to be pressed. So for example, I noticed that the black shoes were behind all of the beard and everything like that. So that's actually the first layer that I'm going to press. And then after that, I need to press the beards because they need to go over top the shoes, but they need to go underneath the hearts and the noses. So that's kind of how I figured that out, and I stacked everything up so that it's already in order. I also like to stack it up because that way when I am placing my vinyl onto my blank, I can kind of see what it's going to look like. So that way I put it in the correct spot. If you don't put everything together, you may not really realize exactly what size or like what, well, how do I say this? If you don't put everything together, you won't get the full picture of the design. So if you just were to line up like the shoes, you may not realize that you're off center or something like that. So I like to do it in this order every single time, and that just takes some of the thought out of that process for me. I know, guys. I hope so too. I hope so too. So the other piece that I need to do is I cut one of the middle gnomes hat out of my All the Hearts vinyl from the DIY Alex collection. And so I need to add a carrier sheet over top of that. But that's actually going to be the last layer that I'm going to do. So that's why I'm going to save that for last, and I'll show you guys how to do that in case you've never worked with printed pattern vinyl. Oh, I did want to tell you, so I used EasyWeed today because I usually prefer the matte texture of Starcraft Softlex, but on something like a pillow, this is a perfect application for Caesar EasyWeed because it's semi-glossy and all that kind of stuff, which is totally fine. That's just not my preference. But on something like a pillow, if I'm not going to wear it, then I don't really care if it has a sheen to the HTV itself. So I chose to use Caesar EasyWeed for most of these colors, and Caesar EasyWeed is on sale today. So I have it in the description for you, but all of the Caesar EasyWeed sheets are 10% off today only. So that today is, in case we were watching the replay, today is January 4th, 2022, and so it's on sale at 143 vinyl. You can find the link and the code down in the description of this video. If you just look for the section that says tap here for info and links, it's under the links section. So I wanted to throw that out there in case you guys want to shop today, but you can use pretty much any kind of heat transfer vinyl that you want as long as it layers well. Terry said, Alex, if you do an in-person event, do it before September. I'm moving back to Washington State in September right now. You're only 2.5 hours away. Oh, cool. Well, we'll see what the year holds, Terry. I've talked about it. I told my husband about it because you guys probably guessed this about me, but I am a people person. I like to interact with people in real life, and the internet is amazing for for bringing people together and everything, but I really like to see people in person, and I want to meet all of you. So at some point I would like to do that, but also you guys, I'm sure, understand with COVID, it's kind of a weird time to bring people together and to risk something like that, because if a bunch of people get sick, then I would feel responsible. So we'll see what happens. I want to do something like that in the future, but I don't know what that looks like right now. Okay, so Connie said 143 is going to break me. I know. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Roseanne. I think maybe it may be a couple years out, and I hate to say that because I would rather it be sooner. But, from a liability standpoint, I don't want to bring a bunch of people here to Louisville and then have a bunch of people get sick and feel like I was the catalyst for that. So anyways, what I'm going to do before I press my pillow is first I'm going to identify where the zipper is, because I want the zipper to go on the bottom of my pillow. So I'm going to flip it so that the zipper is facing towards the bottom. And then I'm just going to preheat the center area. It's a little bit wrinkly. So I'm going to preheat this using my Easy Press, and I have my Cricut Easy Press set to 305 degrees for 15 seconds. That's what Caesar EasyWeed needs. So that's what we are going to do. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and place the entire thing on the pillow. You guys are doing such long comments. Yes, I agree. Ooh, Sarah's going to a quilting convention in February. How fun. Okay, so I'm going to line up first. I'm going to kind of look at the feet to be able to tell whether or not my gnomes are all straight. So that's where I'm going to get started. And another thing, I think I mentioned this in the pre-recorded section too, but I'm going to go ahead and scoot hang on guys. I'm going to scoot my screen, up to the top for you guys so that it's not in the way. There you go. Okay, so, oh my gosh, I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, so another thing I was going to say is because this is going to eventually have a pillow insert inside of it, the sides of it are going to be kind of taken up by that because they're going to be curving backwards around the pillow. So I want to try to center it the best that I can, but it doesn't necessarily need to be perfect. I'm just going to eyeball it. I think it probably needs to move up just a hair. So I'm kind of looking at, I know it's a little hard to see, I'm looking at like the tip of the beard, and then I'm looking from the heart all the way to the top of the pillow and trying to judge whether or not those are even. And I think they look pretty close to me. So I'm going to call it good. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find the black layer on the bottom, and I'm going to peel away everything else. And one thing that you should know about HTV, if you're a little bit new to working with it, is that the carrier sheets, honestly, are really pretty durable. So you can stick them together and you can kind of move them around a little bit. You don't need to worry too much about, like, you can leave them in a stack like this and they're going to be really robust and do just fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and set all of those aside together. And I have a, these are basically a 12 by 12 cut, and I have a 12 by 12 easy press mat underneath my pillow. So I'm gonna try to position it on top of that the best that I can. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm only gonna press each layer for 5 seconds. So I don't need to press the full time for each layer. And then on the last layer, we'll go ahead and press for the full 15 seconds and try to make sure that everything gets enough heat. But again, this is a pillow cover. This is not something that's gonna be washed all the time, and it's probably not even really gonna get like, you know, it's not like a t-shirt where you're gonna wear it and stretch it out and you could spill something on it, then you have to wash it all the time. It's not like that for pillows. So I'm not as worried about getting exactly 15 seconds on every single layer. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to do the best I can, but I'm not super worried about getting it exact. So I'm going to start here on the left-hand side. And I just like to press the Cricut button so I can kind of see the countdown. And every 5 seconds, I'll shift it. So I'm going to try to get the hearts at the top. And then I'm going to try to get the feet here at the bottom. So then I'll move my Teflon sheet out of the way. You can use a Teflon sheet, or you can also use parchment paper. Both of them work equally well for doing stuff like this. I like to use a Teflon sheet because it's super duper reusable. At a certain point, parchment paper is probably gonna get worn out. You're gonna get holes in it and stuff like that. So I really like to use parchment paper, or sorry, a Teflon sheet that I bought from 143. They sell really large Teflon sheets, and I have one for my heat press, and then I have a smaller one that I cut down just for using with my easy press. So now that I have the first layer applied, I can go ahead and line everything back up with my gnomes. And it makes it really easy when you have these exact areas here at the top. The way that the hearts need to fit in with the hats makes it super easy to line up and like see where everything's at. So, and then I'll check my picture and make sure that this looks good. So I can see, well, I guess the black heart was supposed to be on top of the sparkle, but that's okay. It's gonna be underneath, and that's just gonna have to be fine. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. So now what I'll do is I will find the next section, which I think is the white, and then I'm going to go ahead and peel away everything else. Terry, yes, this is a Mr. Crafty Pants cut file from crafty.net. That's why in the recording I showed you guys how to download it from there, because that's where it's from. And I think I forgot to link it in the description, but I will go back and do that. But you can also search Valentine's Gnomes on crafty.net and you will find this. Let's see if I miss you. Y'all are just planning out this event, aren't ya? Oh, I agree, Roseanne. I miss being in person. Yeah, and I have been able to do, so you guys, I have taken Cricut machines on cruise ships before. Have I guys? I probably have never told you that story because those events no longer exist, but when I worked at 143, we actually did a crafting convention on a cruise, and I am not promising that we are going to do a cruise because I will be honest with you guys, it was a ton of work, and we actually, because cruise ships are so strict on what you can bring and what you can't, we didn't end up getting to do that many cool craft stuff. Like, we were able to do some basic stuff together, which was fun, but I think it would be more fun for you guys to meet here in Louisville and, like you said, get like a group rate of rooms and stuff and just do something like in a hotel, because we'd be a lot less restricted in what we could actually do. Cruise ships are really, really awesome, and they'd be more fun for like hanging out, but as far as the actual crafting section of it, we didn't get to do as much cool stuff as I would have liked because we barely convinced them to bring easy presses on the ship. Like, they weren't going to let us bring any heated elements whatsoever. And so it actually was a really big pain. Yeah, that's true. And cruise ships are not a good idea right now. But I guess what I was saying is I understand all the logistics of getting you guys here because I've done it I've done it in other cities. I've done it because what we used to do when I first worked at 143 is we worked with an organization who did stuff like that. And it no longer is in business as far as I know. It may be somewhere, but I don't think it's in business anymore. So it's not something that we could work with them now, but I have actually done all that stuff before. So I think that it would actually be pretty easy. Bourbon while we craft. Absolutely, Sarah. That's not something I talk a ton about on here, but absolutely, drinks would definitely have to be included. That would be a lot of fun. Okay, so now we have our next layer done. Terry said, girl, I always have to go back and rewatch the video because I'm busy being chatty. I know, that's kind of the fun part though. That's why this is so fun, and that's why lives are so much fun. I don't get to do them as often as I like, and I need to plan those a little bit more regularly in 2022. But sometimes the social aspect is just as fun, if not more fun, than the actual crafting itself. Just knowing people who understand what we love to do is just as fun as actually crafting with them. And what I actually found through doing a lot of those in-person events is that a lot of times people are a lot less interested in actually crafting, and they actually just want to hang out. That's usually more what it comes down to. I think crafting should definitely be involved, but it actually becomes more of like a social thing than honestly anything, which I'm super down for. Okay, so I may have to cut my carrier sheets. I wonder if probably this peach layer is what's throwing me off. If you guys can see over here on the left, it's perfectly lined up, but on the right hand side, I'm having some trouble getting everything to line up perfectly. So since this is the second to last layer, I'm gonna go ahead and peel off the pale peach because I think that might be messing up my carrier sheet a little bit. Martinis in a room in our PJs. Listen, Sarah, you are speaking my language, girlfriend. Super casual, super fun. Yes, that is my life. That's what I'm going to do this weekend with my girlfriends, assuming everybody stays healthy. And I am seriously so excited. My friend Kayla had a baby in June, and I haven't had a chance to meet him yet. So we're going to make a girls' weekend out of it, and it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. Okay, so I cut the carrier sheet so that I could adjust this as needed, and now we are going to do another press here. And again, I don't know if I said this because I changed my mind between when I was recording the pre-recorded piece and when I actually cut it, but this is Caesar Sparkle HTV, so I'll peel it up for you guys so you can see the sparkle. It looks like I need to get the side of that beard a little bit better. This is Caesar Sparkle, and I thought it would be really cute because not only does the color kind of complement against the red so you can still see it, but I knew that the texture would do a good job of differentiating between the red and the pink because they can be kind of similar. You know, you have to be careful to make sure that you can actually see it. And since I don't know how well you guys can see that, but the side of that beard did not stick very well because it's off the side of my Easy Press mat. So I'm actually going to go ahead and scoot it over a little bit, and I'll just do this in sections. You can bring the charcuterie board. I'll have to keep getting better. I did my first one on New Year's and I shared it on stories. Yes. I did my first charcuterie board for the new year, and it was a lot of fun, actually. I tried to go like kind of basic since it was just for my husband and I. We were not having any sort of large shindig or anything, so I didn't want to, get too fancy with it because it was just for two people. But it was a lot of fun, actually. I really enjoyed it. And my friend Kayla is a pro, so maybe when I go to her house this weekend, I'll pick up some tips. Okay. So I'm going to do one more 5-second press here on this side. And then we should be ready to peel off the carrier sheet. And we've got 2 layers left. So we've got to do the noses and everything and the little hands. And then we have to still do the layered piece or the pattern piece for the middle gnome's hat. And probably when we do that pattern piece is when we will take the time to press everything. No, not Kayla Norton. Good call though, Roseanne. But no, I have another friend, Kayla, who actually got me, was the one who was like, Alex, you need to buy a Cricut. You would love this, is the friend that I'm going to see. But actually, Kayla has visited me in person. We got a chance to do that back in April because it was literally the day before we redid my entire craft room, and it was so much fun. We literally stayed up like half the night crafting. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, Kayla Norton said, my baby is 4. Her youngest is 4 years old. I know, it would be so worth it. I'll keep you guys posted. I'm going to have to put some thought into it and really think it through because like I said, you know, we want to do it safely and smart, but also, we also want to get together because that would be super, super fun. Thanks, Roseanne. I will definitely tell her. Yeah, which is funny because Kayla France is her name, and Kayla got me started in Cricut crafting, and then she usually only gets her machine out for gifts and stuff like that. And so now she calls me when she has a question, which is super funny because she's the one who got me started. Oh, that's right, Kate. I forgot about that. Marvin sublimated on clear sparkle at 143 and it worked. Yeah, so that could be super cool. Okay, so we're going to press down 5 seconds on each of these peach layers, but just in case, because there's so much HTV here, I'm gonna take a previous clear carrier sheet and I'm gonna layer it over top of all the other vinyl so that nothing gets moved by the easy press. All right, so we're just gonna do 5-second presses again. I'll do this side. And another thing about this this design in particular, so if you were going to do this on like a shirt or something, there's a good chance that it would feel pretty darn thick on your shirt, and you may want to consider if that's going to be a factor. Because this is going to be on a pillow, it doesn't matter, so you can literally do as many layers of HTV as you want to. But if you're doing it on a shirt or something like that, you may want to consider how it's going to feel to the person who's wearing it. Sherry said the student became the teacher. I know exactly, which is super funny to me. Kayla, that's true. We literally, Kayla made like 1 mug. I think I maybe made 2. But yeah, it was a hoot. All right, so next we need to go ahead and put the carrier sheet over top of the printed pattern HTV. So if you guys have never worked with this before, actually, I may not even get out my piece of transfer mask. I may just use one of these carrier sheets. So when you use heat transfer mask over top of printed pattern HTV, it's essentially just a piece of clear carrier sheet. So you can just use an old piece from another press if you want to get it over there. And the reason that it doesn't have its own carrier sheet is because 143 Vinyl actually prints these prints in-house. So they actually print on the front of the vinyl, but when you guys are used to getting like Caesar HTV or something, it's created in a really big place and then they add a carrier sheet over top of it, whereas this stuff is printed directly onto the HTV. So you're basically just adding heat-proof transfer tape is all you're doing. So I'm just gonna lay this down just like I would on transfer tape. And I'm going to go ahead and trim it off of the rest of the sheet. I don't know if I'm going to say your name right. Savani said, how do you do the mugs? Savani, I've got tons of tutorials on my channel about using Cricut mugs making Cricut mugs with the Cricut mug press. So that's an option for you. But you can also make mugs just using like regular vinyl if you want to. So there's lots and lots of options for different ways that you can use mugs. Okay, so this is a little bit too soft, so I'm going to scoot all this aside and I'm going to use my squeegee and burnish it down just like I would with regular vinyl. And then I should be able to just peel my printable HTV right off the backing. Oh, well, you're going to be stubborn. Joy said, sparkling glitter. Not a fan of glitter, but is sparkle sparkly enough? I want to do a sunflower in sparkle or shimmer, not glitter. Opinion, please. Joy, I think it would be perfect for a sunflower. It's actually, I don't know if you guys, how well you can tell on camera, but it is pretty sparkly. It's basically like a background color with a silver glitter overlay. So you can see a background color, but the glitter on top is always silver. Oh, of course. And now we're going to be stubborn. There we go. Okay, so once I got my piece of printable HTV going, now it's going to stick on the transfer sheet just fine. I may have to get some of these edges down, which happens sometimes. Printable HTV can be a little bit of a bear. It's not hard to do, it's just a little bit finicky. And probably because this is a used carrier sheet, it's not quite as sticky as a fresh piece. So as you guys can see, there are some wrinkles and stuff in it. So all I'm gonna do is just take that side and just kind of lift it up, and then I'll lay it back down with my fingers. Nothing fancy or anything like that. There we go. We'll get it looking nice and smooth. So now we'll go ahead and place this in the center where it's gonna kind of hold the bottom of that heart, which makes it really easy to line up actually. I love when designs go together like this because it makes it so stinking easy. Okay. So now we have this middle section here, and this is going to be our very last layer. So now we need to go ahead and press it for the full 15 seconds. So what I'm going to do in order to make sure that everything is safe and protected is, again, I'm going to put another piece of carrier sheet over top of the whole thing. That way, as we press it, it doesn't become an issue. And in fact, I may have to move it over a little bit. So here's what we'll do. We will do a full press over on this side, and then what I'll do is I'll move everything over to this side, and I'll make sure this gets 15 seconds as well. Terry said, Alex, is all this vinyl you're using linked in the description? Yes, Terry. And what I did is I broke it down by project. So I have all the information for each of the ideas that I shared with you. And at the bottom, the HTV custom pillow cover has all the colors I used, all the links for all that stuff, and the coupon code. And don't forget that Caesar Easy Weed HTV, which is all the plain colors that I'm using today, is on sale for 10% off. So that coupon code is in the description for you as well. Let's see. Jay Romani said, I need help. I have the Cricut Explorer Air 2, and on the mat, I put the transfer paper, then the vinyl. Why isn't the transfer tape being cut? So you don't want to use transfer tape until after you take it off the mat. So that's probably where you're having issues. You just want to put the vinyl on the mat and have the Cricut cut it. And then when you pull it off and you weed away the excess vinyl, you'll add the transfer tape over top of the vinyl, and then you don't need to cut it other than just with your scissors. Okay, so let's go ahead and press the left-hand side for a full 15 seconds. You'll also notice, I don't know how easy it will be for you to tell, but I'm gonna like lean down on my easy press a little more and give it a little bit more pressure. Now that this is our final press, I wanna make sure that I'm giving it all the pressure, all the temperature that it needs to be a really good press. So I'm gonna lean over on it and start it with 15 seconds. I always shake a little bit when I push down on it. I don't know if you guys do that or not. Feels like I'm doing like a plank or something. And then I'll put it back in its cradle. And then I'll move over to the right side. We'll be able to remove both carrier sheets this time because we don't need that pattern one anymore. And we'll just lay the larger carrier sheet over top of that right-hand side. Roseanne said, I'm not crazy about gnomes, but the technique is great for other things. Yes, Roseanne, and you guys, I just have to be honest with you. Gnomes are not normally my, oh, I'm sorry. I just smacked my microphone, so I'm sorry if that was really loud. Gnomes are not normally my jam. That's not probably something that I would pick on a regular basis, but you guys literally go crazy every time that I use gnomes, and I have softened to them over the years, but I have to agree, Roseanne, they're usually not like my favorite thing. But yeah, this layering technique can be used for any type of vinyl, any type of project, well, any type of vinyl that's heat transfer vinyl. So it's a helpful technique to know how to do regardless. Okay, so now we're gonna do this right-hand side. We're gonna leave this left gnome alone because he already got a press, and actually the middle one did too. So I'm actually going to try and center my easy press over top this gnome on the right, because he did not get love on the last press. I can kind of see through my Teflon sheet a little bit, so I just kind of excluded it so that it didn't get too much heat and pressure. If you go for 5 seconds at a time, there's a really low chance that you'll overheat your HTV, but it can be done. Okay. So we'll let that cool for just a second. Kayla Norton is thebomb.com. Okay. So I'll let that cool for just a second, and I'll answer some more questions. Let's see. You're welcome, Joy. I hope that helps. Helps you understand a little bit better. So Jay said, so I cut the vinyl out. It's just the white logo I want. Now what do I do with the transfer paper? So if you're assuming that you're using regular vinyl, which would be like adhesive vinyl with the sticky backing, then you're just gonna go ahead and add the transfer tape over top the whole design. So you're just gonna cut out a square that would go over top of your design, and then you're gonna put that on top, rub it down with your squeegee or your scraper tool, and then you should be able to peel it off the backing. But Jay, if you're asking me questions like this, then I'm gonna suggest that you take a free Cricut workshop. So I don't know if you guys know this or not. I don't talk about it all the time. Sometimes I do over on my stories though. I teach live classes for Cricut basically every week. And Cricut is offering these relatively new, totally free workshops. So if you are brand new, then honestly, it's really super helpful. And what we do in the Cricut 101 class is we actually go over how to make a vinyl decal. So this would literally walk you through the process of what I think you're trying to do. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the comments for signing up for these classes. But if you guys have not explored any of this, then I really do recommend it. I think it's a really helpful class for everybody. And I think it's especially super helpful when you're a beginner trying to get a foundation underneath you. It's a great place to start. So you don't have to take the class with me. I usually teach the one that is Monday afternoons. So it's like 4 o'clock Eastern time on Mondays is the class that I teach, but there's also a Cricut 102 that you can take that teaches you a little bit more about design space and stuff like that. Yeah, Kayla said answering questions is my unofficial job. Kayla is like, I tell her she's an honorary part of like DIY Alex because my team is very small. But Kayla is amazing, okay? We are always talking back and forth about all kinds of cute stuff. Yeah, I agree. I definitely, there are people who are like obsessed with gnomes, and there are people who like, I feel like that's me. Like, I like gnomes, but like, I don't love gnomes. Most people are like super into them, or they absolutely hate them. So I mostly do gnome crafts for your all's benefit because I know that you guys love it. But yeah, it's not usually my craft of choice, to be honest with you. But I thought this would be such a good application because I think it just really shows the layering technique so well, and that can work for any kind of project. So you don't have to be making stuff with gnomes to use this technique of layering 5 seconds at a time, and then make sure that when you get to the final layer that you are doing a full press for the recommended amount of time so the HTV sticks really well. So I'll get it kind of close so you guys can see. You can see a little bit of texture there in the white from how many times we had to press. But I honestly really like the way that sparkle kind of offset everything. And I have been waiting to use all the hearts, which is the printed pattern vinyl in the middle, for something forever. So I'm excited that I got a chance to use it, and I hope you guys learned something good. If you need any help, or if you need any links or anything, everything should be down in the description of the video. Again, I organized it based on the ideas that I told you today. So there's a whole list of each of the ideas and tutorials related to them, supplies related to them, and all that stuff. So you'll just want to tap or click on the area that says tap for links and info, and that will open up the video description to find all of that. Ooh, Terry said gnomes are her good luck charm. Oh gosh, you were in a car accident in 2017 and had a little gnome on my dashboard. It was a car accident that I should have died. I'm alive. Oh my gosh. Wow, Terry. Well, I don't blame you for loving gnomes if you definitely feel like they helped you survive a car crash. I'm so glad that you're still here. Oh, okay. So Joy, you feel like gnomes are a Christmas thing. There you go. Oh, wow. Well, that's awesome, Terry. I'm glad that you found a hobby that you love. That definitely gives you some purpose and definitely gives you something cool to focus on. I agree. I think crafting is therapy for a lot of us. It may not physically, do much for us, but I think mentally it's a great, great asset. And I love being connected to the whole crafting community. I love coming on here and doing you guys, doing crafts with you and spending time with you and chatting with you. And hopefully one day I'll maybe meet all of you. So anyways, guys, I'm probably going to hop off here, but if you haven't already subscribed to DIY Alex, I would love for you to do that. I put out new videos every single week, so there's always something new coming out. Plus, I have tons of videos on other stuff if you have any questions or need anything. I love you guys, and I appreciate you so, so much. And I think that's all the comments. I think I got to everything. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, all the hearts.